MrBeast, Logan Paul, and KSI have launched their own competitor to Lunchables. It's called Lunchly.
Lunchly versus Lunchables.
With Lunchly, you get double the amount of liquid.
Prime has no sugar added, more electrolytes, and more B vitamins.
It's really not a bad idea. Lunchables pretty much has a monopoly over this pre-made, packaged lunch things. It's super popular among kids, obviously. I personally remember Lunchables being the absolute shit back in elementary school. With the massive fan bases and unmatched name recognition of these three characters, specifically among children and consequently their parents, it's not hard to see why this product is a really good idea. However, it is the motivations behind these creators' creation that has ultimately landed them in a bit of drama.
You are strange. What am I supposed to do with you?
DanTDM is a YouTube legend. I grew up watching this man, as did most based people my age.
Hey, how's it going? I've actually got something for you. This is the bread that you asked me to get, and you can now go make me a sandwich.
In case you don't know who DanTDM is, he's basically a Minecraft YouTuber, and his content has revolved around Minecraft since its conception. And I'll tell you what, it's gonna be a bit difficult to remain unbiased in this video. I mean, I love the guy, and I love Minecraft.
Cause you're not.
It's not working? Why aren't these working?
There you go.
I hate you guys so much.
But I promise I will lay my biases aside for today. Now, with that said, what started this drama? Well, following the announcement of Lunchly, Dan tweeted asking what happened to YouTubers, pointing out the obvious, which is the motivation behind Lunchly is strictly money. Dan states in his tweet, "What happened to YouTubers, man? I can't not say anything anymore. This is selling stuff for the sake of making money. Simple. How does this benefit their fans? This is selling crap to kids who don't know any better than to trust the people who are selling it to them. Do better." Now, I personally believe there's nothing wrong with selling things to your audience strictly for money. However, I think you would have to be ignorant to deny that that's exactly what's going on here. So I'm not at all upset that Logan Paul, KSI, and MrBeast are starting another company. It was more so KSI and Logan Paul's responses to DanTDM that caused me to make this video. But first, I'll go over MrBeast's response, which was pretty mature and reasonable. Lunchables sells millions of units and countless people eat it. Our goal is to give people a better-for-you alternative to it. Our turkey meal, for example, is 80 less calories, 60% less sugar, and more electrolytes. We use real cheese, and they use cheese product. They can't call it cheese. High quality meat, etc. I like this response. MrBeast admits that there are healthier meal alternatives to Lunchables already, but millions of people still consume them. This is very true. Lunchables are a convenient and seemingly cheap means of feeding your child. Why not provide a healthier alternative that still provides that same benefit of convenience? MrBeast isn't attacking anyone or making dumb excuses, he's reasonably justifying his creation. However, the same cannot be said about Logan and KSI's responses, which are frankly dumb and spiteful. KSI attempts to slap back at Dan by attacking his merch. His logic seems to be he sold merch and made money, so he's a hypocrite. This is hardly a slapback. Merchandise lets creators grow their community, and it allows their fans to express their interests and show appreciation for their favorite creators. The difference between this and Lunchly is that Lunchly is a line of fruit products that attempts to enter a market with as little competition as possible. The product comes first, while the creators and consequently their fans come second. In a merch line, the community comes first, and the product comes second. It is the purpose and motivation behind these projects that is the key difference. I'll bring this point up a few times because that's something that both KSI and Logan Paul really just don't understand, or at least pretend not to understand. People would also point out how KSI also sold toys and U2s, to which KSI would respond by saying, "I'm not the one complaining and crying on Twitter though." And to that I would say the only one who is complaining and crying about the situation is KSI and Logan Paul. At the time of recording, Dan has only posted one tweet. KSI has tweeted 6 different times about it and uploaded a 20-minute long video just yapping and calling anybody who defends Dan cringe. The few points he did make were complete nonsense, and I'll go over it later because Logan Paul actually reacted to that video too. Another common response to KSI's tweet is pointing out how Dan isn't selling junk food. He's selling toys. He's not selling anything that's directly affecting the health of his fans. KSI would respond to this by bringing up a sponsorship Dan had years ago on his 3rd channel, which isn't really the same thing. Dan didn't start a company that sells this stuff to kids. It was a one-time sponsorship on his 3rd channel, and he's not claiming that what he's selling is any healthier than what anybody else is selling. And that's another big issue a lot of people have with Lunchly. While it is healthier than Lunchables, it's really not much healthier. Both Lunchables and Lunchly are shit. Lunchly is just slightly better shit. They are both just processed garbage. I don't think this is as big of a deal because although they are claiming that it is healthier than Lunchables, that's not exactly a lie. You could say that it is slightly disingenuous, and I wouldn't totally disagree. I just don't think it's that big of a deal. Like, kids are gonna eat junk food regardless. It doesn't really matter where it's coming from, in my opinion. And that's why I'm not criticizing Mr. Beast nearly as much as Logan Paul and KSI. And now I'll get into Logan Paul's reaction to all this drama, which is arguably worse than KSI's. Now, Logan Paul has always been quite a controversial figure on the internet. You have the whole Suicide Forest thing and the crypto scam, and now he's suing CoffeeZilla. I can go into detail about all of that, but that's for another video. He responded to Dan in probably the most stuck-up and egotistical way possible. I'll tell you what happened to YouTubers. We spent our lives creating content and building our brands. Now we want to build businesses. You don't say anything when Lunchables faces bans for allegedly containing lead, but when we create a better version, you're upset? Then don't eat it. No, I think the first part of that tweet is really what's wrong with YouTubers today, and I think it really only proves Dan's point. YouTube used to be about ordinary people expressing themselves in creative ways, and building communities off of their content. And any side projects or passion projects they would do would only add to or build their communities. They may make some money or a lot of money off of those projects, but that was never really the goal. With Lunchly, that is definitely not the case. The second part of his tweet is quite dumb. He kinda calls Dan out for going after Lunchly, but not going after Lunchables when Lunchables allegedly has lead in them. And first of all, why would he? Point of Dan's tweet was to call out YouTubers for prioritizing money at the expense of their viewers. He wasn't doing some kind of social commentary on the state of the food industry. And secondly, you can tell he doesn't know anything about the business that he's entering. I'm not gonna pretend like I do, and Oompaville does a great job of explaining it, so I'm just gonna let him do it.
Just to kind of explain to you guys, I'm in the food production industry. I am actively involved. I just ordered flavors and dyes this morning. The reason I say that is to articulate my depth of knowledge in regard to this type of thing. And Logan Paul is speaking, Lunchables allegedly contains lead. You don't say anything about our product. I'm going to tell you right now, for those of you who don't know, Lunchables does contain lead in it. It does have lead in it. And also, Lunchly does also have lead in it. Feastables does have lead in it. Any food that is made from anything that is grown in the earth or touches metal or some kind of amalgam of multiple metals, which is, let's be real, most metal, lead's everywhere, brother. See the periodic table? Everything past lead eventually turns back into lead. The reason I am articulating all of this, saying, well, everything's in lead, I'm not saying that we should be fine with lead. I'm just saying that Logan is so stupid and knows so little about food and the manufacturing of food and quality assurance and compliance and the laws surrounding food that he should not be anywhere near a food product. This is incredibly embarrassing, and he is completely wrong.
Oompaville runs his own candy company, that's why he knows all this stuff, and he's also just a really good YouTuber, so go subscribe to him. And you may be wondering, well, if lead isn't such a big deal, then why are Lunchables under investigation for it? Well, even the source that Logan listed states that Lunchables were under investigation for relatively high amounts of lead, so slightly over the recommended limit. And this is only according to California's state regulations, which are generally stricter than the rest of the United States. I'm not saying that as a good, I'm not justifying it, I'm just saying that Lunchly is not much better, and it only makes things worse when you remember that Prime was under investigation for lead contamination. And they, just like Lunchables, were under investigation in the state of California. Now, to be fair, both of these investigations are kinda bullshit, and this actually got Logan into a lot of controversy a while back. One of his few controversies that I would say he didn't deserve. So you would think he would know what it's like to have people come at him attacking his brand, not knowing what the hell they're talking about. But you see him doing the exact same thing here with Lunchables. When a Twitter user asked Logan to compare the lead in Lunchables to the lead in Lunchly, Logan replied with a video of them running Lunchly under x-ray machines. Yet again, this just shows how little Logan knows about this stuff. Those giant x-ray machines cannot detect the trace amounts of lead in these products. You'd need like an electron microscope to actually be able to observe this stuff. That is not at all how these tests work. It's laughable how little he knows about this industry that he's entering. And to be clear, I'm not an expert in this at all. It only took like 10 minutes of research to find out that what Logan is saying is absolute bullshit. And if you've looked into Logan Paul like I have, this probably doesn't come as a surprise to you. He kind of just says whatever he can to get out of the controversy that he's in, but I'll stop ranting about all that. Like I said, that's all for another video. And now I'll get into the video that KSI uploaded and Logan reacted to.
What happened to YouTubers, man? I can't not say anything anymore. This is selling Stop for the sake of making money. How does this benefit their fans? Do better. Do better.
That's exactly how I interpreted it as well.
You know, I really got to appreciate the acting here, not from KSI, but from Logan, making it seem like he's absolutely shitting his pants out of laughter.
Like, let me put this in the context. Imagine being a motherfucker who's angry that we made this. Crackers, bro? You mad cause we made crackers?
I know I said before that this is something that Logan and KSI just wouldn't understand. Dan isn't mad because they made crackers. He's pointing out the fact that these YouTubers have created Lunchly for money. It's the motivation that matters.
This is what you're mad about? Bruh. It's a turkey, real cheese, and cracker stack. And by the way, it's great. I mean, yes, we made nachos as well with queso, but I think if you're getting mad about nachos, that's a you problem. Oh, and the pizza. It's literally called the pizza. But same thing, like, you're mad about pizza? Like 500,000 favorites because we made pizza, crackers, and nachos?
Once again, nope.
Where was the same energy when Ryan Trahan released Sweets? Where was the same energy when FaZe Rug released Sweets?
Hey, that is true. I don't remember anyone having a problem with Ryan or Rug when they released their candy. Just funny how that works.
Cause it's the motivation. I don't know about FaZe Rug, but Ryan Trahan created his candy brand because he loves candy. He's passionate about the project that he's going into. Same thing with Oompaville and Sour Boys.
I'm not seeing people going crazy towards them on Twitter. You know why? It's because people just hate us.
That's it. People just hate us. And I've come to realize now in my adult life that hate really is just a feeling of one's own inadequacy. You're dissatisfied with your life, you're unhappy, you're angry because your wife left you, or you suck. You might as well go hate on a cracker stack.
Yeah, people only hate Logan because they're insecure, not because he's actually done anything wrong. He's deflecting, just like he did during his CryptoZoo controversy. To say that people only hate you because they're insecure is incredibly narcissistic, especially coming from Logan. It makes it seem like he thinks he's undeserving of criticism, especially in this case where Dan isn't hating on anybody. He's just pointing out a very obvious fact. And instead of facing the real criticism, he acts out like a child, deflecting and attacking Dan personally, because his fragile ego has been damaged by one of the most beloved and wholesome creators on the internet. That's really what the rest of Logan's reaction consists of, him acting like a child and not addressing the real criticism head on. And like I said way back at the beginning of this video, I'm not hating on Lunchly. I'm not hating on Logan Paul, KSI, and Mr. Beast because they're starting another company. I just think the way KSI and Logan Paul has reacted to this criticism is extremely childish and just makes them look like idiots. But hey, that's just what I think about this whole thing. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. And that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you all enjoyed. I have a video on Logan Paul that I've been working on for a while. I don't know when it's going to be out, but stay tuned for that. It's very in-depth and it's very interesting. But with that said, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a wonderful day.